Aloha, it's Robert with Blue Planet. Today we're going to do a little voiceover. I have my buddies here, my wing foiling buddies from last week. We got some good footage. We're going to talk a little bit about what we're doing, try to give you guys some tips. So let me introduce everyone first. Over here is...
Hey, how's it everybody? Derek Hamasaki.
How's it? Daniel Kahanui.
Jeff Chang.
Alright, so we got our screen here. We're going to play the footage while we're talking about it. Trying to do a little bit of social distancing here. And but luckily in Hawaii, our governor is a surfer, so they're still letting us get our exercise out in the water. Here in some places, people get arrested for going in the water or going surfing and stand-up paddling. But here's Derek. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing there.
Right here I got my the 4.0 ozone wasp, the wing, riding a Go Foil GL 140 with a 14-inch back stabilizer on a 4.4 Jimmy Lewis board. Just kind of catching the waves and you know, tacking in and out. Trying to keep up speed with the swells. That is kind of a hard thing out there if you got too big of a wing. But right there you got Jeff riding a nice swell.
Yeah, so I'm on a 5.0 F1 swing, and the board is Jimmy Lewis 5.0 by 27, and the foil is a GL 210 and a modified Kai back. And we like to ride the higher aspect, thinner profile wings because they seem to keep up with the swells and the waves a little better. So here you see me going back out, and pretty easy to get up to plane, enough wind. But it got pretty light later.
Yeah, this one here is, I mean, it feels so good. Such a great feeling that you can fly out and then turn around and catch the wave back in. Yeah, just love the wing. Go ahead and try to carve it up as much as possible. It's not the same just because you have that wing with you, and well, for me, I don't have my paddle, but it's something that you just got to get used to. Super fun days. Oahu, we don't really have great windy days. It's not constant like Maui all the time, but we, you know, whenever we get a chance, Jeff, Robert, whoever's, you know, a whole bunch of us will just shoot down, assess the winds and make the call, and then, you know, everybody will show up. We're all like hooked, like super hooked, just like beginning of foiling. Ever since we got this wing, holy smokes, man. Any windy days, everybody's just texting and messaging each other like, is it strong enough? You know, and if it is, we're there.
So it's kind of a dilemma. You want a front wing big enough so you can get up to plane, but then you also want a smaller one when you're riding the waves. You got to choose a front wing for your foil that's kind of a compromise between being able to get up to plane and also being small enough so you can make turns on the wave.
Yeah, I think what's so addicting about wing foiling is that you're up on the foil almost the whole time. It's unlike, you know, when you're prone foiling or stand-up foiling, you spend a lot of time just you know, paddling around and not being up on the foil. So here's Daniel, who's kind of newer to it. You want to talk a little bit about what you're doing?
Yeah, so I'm pumping the wing and the foil at the same time to come out of the water, and I'm using a Maliko Go Foil Maliko 200 with a Maliko back modified and a 5.8 red manta board and my ozone 4-meter wing. Still in the beginning, learning and watching these guys, and I'm learning a lot off of them and pushing myself, and we push each other every time we go out. So here I'm using the Maliko, like I said, and see how the wave kind of passes me because the wing is so big that I can't keep up with the wave. Like if I had a thinner profile wing, I would be flying on that, you know, with the swell. And here's Derek. He's keeping up with that just that little bumps. Jeff here. And
So it's kind of nice to, when you're riding the wave, to go to your normal stance, but if you can, it's advantageous to learn how to ride switch or your switch stance, because whether you're going out or coming in, you can point higher. So I've been trying to learn to ride goofy foot, although I'm a regular foot, and getting to where I can do it. And then when I ride back in goofy foot, and then right before I catch the wave, I switch to my regular foot stance. And here you see the wing kind of flopped over the way it's not supposed to. I've since figured out that to prevent this, you let the wing drop back and pull it forward so that it won't flip over. Try to avoid letting the wingtip touch the water, and then it won't do that. But you can flip it back, hopefully, before you start going back out again.
But yeah, just now you can see there's 2 drones in the air actually. So we were lucky. We were, on the group text, everyone's getting their text messages. So Mike Mendez came down and brought this drone, and this is his footage here. And then Tyler Landon was also there with his drone. So we had actually 2 drones in the air at the same time, which is pretty cool, but kind of risky, having 2 drones, you always run the chance of them colliding together. But it's kind of cool because there were some birds too that were kind of checking out the drones, and they were flying around in flocks. So here I'm doing a tack. It's like I really like doing the tacks coming out of the wave, kicking out of the wave, passing the wing over the head into the wind. I'm going to try to do another video soon just on the doing the tacks. Here I'm doing a jump. When you have a big ramp, it's actually almost hard not to get launched into the air. But the hard part for me is just pulling off the landings, especially if I get a little bit more air. So I just actually ended up on this day just flopping more on the tail, and then it's hard to pull it off if you kind of land on the tail. But so that's something I'm still working on, pulling off the bigger jumps. I can kind of pull off smaller jumps by landing kind of more flat, but on the big jump, landing flat on the foil is just too much impact. Here's Derek. Wait, you want to talk a little bit about jumping, Derek?
Yeah, I guess from watching other videos too of the guys, Maui and people in New Caledonia and whatnot. I find once you're coming to a swell or to a peak, just try to get as much speed as you can and use your arms and your legs to kind of compress yourself and just try to get as high as possible. But once you coming down for the landing, I found it's best to just stick your tail first and then try to stabilize the wing, landing tail first, and then at the same time using your arms to pull you back up and the wind to pull you back up and try to get you propelled forward. A lot of times it doesn't happen because it just happens so quickly. But I think you just gotta keep practicing. Trying to hit that height, and then once you start coming back down, just try to figure out what is first. The landing. Use your arms on the wing and whatnot. There's a cool shot of the drone getting the other drone.
Yeah.
Of Rob.
2 drones together.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to mention for launching jumps, especially if you have just a smaller ramp, what helps is to bring your board down and then kind of launch the board up at the same time as you're hitting the ramp, so that it's almost like you're coming up, like you're breaching out of the water at the same time as you're launching off the bump, and then that's the way you can really lift off the water. And you kind of really want to push yourself up, otherwise, and you have to really go pretty high because to get the foil out of the water, you really have to launch it, and it feels like you're going super high, but sometimes it's not as high as you think it is, right?
Once you see the footage, you go,
yeah,
okay.
I thought I was like 10 times as high.
Right.
So one thing I like to do, especially when I'm coming in and kind of twist it up like this, is just hold the wing with one arm when I can, and then just kind of hold it a little bit higher over my head with one arm, and then I kind of use the leash to control the front of the wing a little bit. Of course, now I'm not doing it right there, but it's a little bit, you have a little bit less control, but it's a lot more comfortable than being kind of all twisted up with your arms. But it's really nice to be able to let the wing go when you're on the wave and just use the wave to propel yourself. But then if you do need a little bit more speed, you can just grab the wing again and get ahead of the wave or go through a flat section. and then let go again, and it kind of turns neutral. So it's really nice to be able to do that, unlike like when you're kite surfing or even windsurfing. It's a lot harder to totally depower the wing or the sail. So I think that's kind of one of the things I really like about the wing, is that you can almost completely depower it and just have it luffing next to you. So, and the wind started getting a little bit lighter, yeah?
Started getting really light. At the end of the session, I got stuck out at sea. I would say don't panic, and good practice to know you can get back in is just stay on your knees and just point the direction that you need to go, or paddle back in. You know, you can always paddle. So a lot of the times for me, beginning, it helped with everybody here. Derek, Jeff, and Robert is going to like a flat water area and practice in there before you go out into open ocean like this. That's the best way, I'd say.
Yeah, sometimes, you know, just because it's windy, especially when you're learning and you don't know any wind sports. Like myself and Daniel, we never did do, you know, kite or windsurfing. We see the winds blowing, and you know, typically you think, oh, straight offshore, that's the best place to go. But actually, that's, you know, it's kind of intimidating, because, you know, as you can see, like this footage right here, you're going out to sea. Like the water is, at some points, it's purple. You look down and you're like, holy smokes, okay. Well, then let me turn around. So, I mean, to be safe, I would either try a flat waters, a spot that, you know, there's land on both ends, and, you know, you kind of block from going out to sea, and not somewhere like this. You know, I mean, if you were to get in trouble, it's not too far. You can always just fold the wing up, deflate it, get on your board and lay down and paddle it in. But you know, you could get into trouble if you know, if you keep trying to go further and further out, just looking for that wind pocket. Best bet is just to recognize, okay, the wind is getting lighter. Either go on your knees and point your wing in and try to get in as close as possible to land, or take the signs and get up on foil and then start going in and surfing the inside breaks instead of taking it too far out. And just knowing when to quit. You know, when it's light, no wind, just call it, go in.
I just realized that everybody said what gear they're on except for me. So I'm using a duotone wing, 5 meter wing, and the board I have is a 5.2 Blue Planet Carver foil board, 98 liter volume. It's a really fun board for me. And then I'm using the Blue Planet Carver foil, 1,300 square centimeters, which I like that, using a smaller wing, especially in the waves, just because it's faster and more maneuverable than using a big foil wing. The only downside about using a smaller wing is that you just have to work a little bit harder to get it going. But I find that once you get it going, because it's just faster on a smaller wing, it's not necessarily harder to keep it going, because you just generate more speed, and then with more speed you also have more pressure in the wing. So even a lighter wing, as long as you can get it going and start flying the foil, using a smaller foil wing is just more fun, I think. But when you're getting started, definitely using a bigger front wing makes things a lot easier. It also just gives you more time in your transitions. Like if you're doing a jive, you can just take your time. You don't drop off the foil as quickly as using a small wing. But here you can see how I'm holding the wing with one arm. It's just a lot more relaxed than being all twisted up with both arms on the boom. The reason I really like the duotone is because I have that boom, and I can grab it pretty much without looking. I just can grab it wherever I need to put my hands, and I don't have to look to see where the strap is, or you know, switching from one hand to the other is easy for me to do. So I haven't really gotten used to using wings with straps yet, but I just haven't done it much because I'm just used to my duotones, and that's what I've been using. I just have a 4 meter and a 5 meter duotone. But here's Daniel actually on the wave.
So here's one of my waves that I had, trying to keep up with the wave. And it starts getting a little steep, so I'm out of there and try to fill that wing back up with some wind and get out again.
Perfect.
From that inside where it's kind of shallow. And here I am going back out. And sometimes when the wind picks up, headed back out over the waves, you gotta kind of suck in your knees instead of be like straight leg, because you like breach. And I do that all the time, going too fast and hit the wave and breach. So I kind of suck it up every time I go over like a steep part of the wave.
Yeah, there's like two things that could happen when you're coming out. When you're flying back out and the waves, the swell is coming, you could either like go up and high over it, and then your foil will come out and you just tumble it on the backside of the wave, or the board will stick to the wave that's going in, going into shore, and at that connection right there would just be enough for you to stop instantly and just topple over as well. So you just gotta kind of use your judgment, and when it's coming to, like compress your legs, bring your legs up, but as soon as you go over the top of that little swell, then you gotta extend your legs, because that's going down the backside as well. So, but it just takes practice. I mean, a bunch of practice. At flat water spots, like, no worries. I mean, you're just going one way, and it's great. But somewhere when you come out where you got waves like this, oh yeah, you definitely just need, just take time, have fun with it.
Yeah, something I started doing is when the waves coming towards me, I kind of, when I'm going out, I kind of turn up into the face of the wave, and then as soon as I'm kind of over it, then I turn back down and come back down and kind of accelerate back down the back of it. It's a good way to kind of go upwind, because you can kind of use the lift of the face of the wave to kind of propel you upwind. So it's something worth trying. Oh, here, I got a nice ramp. Launching, flap. So I still have to work on that landing.
Yeah, so here I am going back out to the purple water.
Yeah, well,
And it's a lot of swells out there, and easy to connect to any waves, any bumps. Going back in, really fun.
So Daniel, you've only been doing it for a month and a half. So what are some good pointers for people just starting out, and if you're just starting out, what helped you the most when you started?
What helped me the most is a bigger board for sure, and a bigger wing. The biggest wing you have, foil wing, gives you a lot of lift and at slow speed, so that you can get on foil and you don't need much. It's way more easy. Just like starting off with anything, you don't want to go too small or small with like your board, your foil wing, or even your regular wing. I mean, now I got a 4 meter and a 5 meter, and I think that's the max I'll get. That's good enough.
And then before you went in the water, we were practicing on land, right? Kind of how to handle the wing and all that.
Yes, I practice on land. So my first week that I tried winging, Robert was nice enough to come with a few of us and give us some instructionals on the beach of how to hold the wing and switching the wing, and it helps a lot.
Right. I mean, you want to try to figure out the wing handling as much as you can on land, because it's just a lot easier to learn than in the water, where you keep floundering and quickly get exhausted after you fall a bunch of times, right? So the more you can figure out on land, the better when you're starting out. And then just using the right equipment. Like, Jeff, what do you recommend for beginners? What kind of equipment?
Yeah, you want a floaty sup that you can stand on without needing the wind to pull you, and that makes it easier to get going, because you can just stand there and have the wind gradually pull you up. It's a little harder to use it for pumping up to foil, but it's way easier when you get tired to stand up, or if you have to self-rescue back to shore, you got a bigger board you can paddle in. During the early days, I found that if you actually go on your knees, if you have a hard time, you're tired and you can't stand up anymore, you go on your knees and you put the sail towards your aft, towards the back of the board, you can actually get it to point up into the wind. So that's a good way to self-rescue, is just when you get tired, go on your knees. Or if you have to, you can go on your belly and paddle in. So that's one of the nice things about winging, is it's pretty safe. It's really easy to self-rescue.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people are, you know, especially online, if you look, a lot of people are using really small boards for foiling, like basically wing foiling on prone boards that sink. I find, like, I've tried that too, but I find on the Oahu, our wind is not that steady, so a lot of times the wind can die completely, and it's just, you don't really want to be on a board that sinks if the wind dies, because it's just nice to have nice one. It's nice to have a board that'll float you at the surface. It just makes it a lot easier when you get a little puff of wind that you can get up on the foil, than if you're like 3 feet underwater and just can't lift. You know, you have to have the wind lift you out of the water. So we found for Oahu, all of us right now are using boards that pretty much float us, or maybe have a little bit less volume than we need to float our body weight. Except for you, maybe Derek. How many liters is your board?
It's probably about 70 liters, maybe 68 to 70 liters.
But that's still enough to keep you at the surface.
Yeah. It's like a little submerged, but it's not like, I'm not up to my knees. So
So basically, what we use are just really small stand-up foil boards that you can, for me, like the 5.2 is smaller than what I would usually use stand-up foiling. I use a 5.8, but with the wing, I can go a little bit smaller. I find. Here I'm kind of going upwind and then back downwind. Just using that lift of the face to kind of turn upwind. It's kind of fun to ride the wave upwind.
Yeah, I'm using a board that's about the same as Derek, about up to my ankles if I try to stand on it, but I found the easiest way to start with that is you just point your board downwind rather than across the wind, and then get on your knees, and as fast as you can try to get the sail up into your hands holding the proper place. And once you get the sail up in your hand, then it's easy to balance on your knees, and then you can turn the board sideways to the wind and put one foot up then the other. It actually even works with a small floaty prone board. You can knee start the same way. So that's how we start. But like we were saying, the floatier the board, the easier. And so if you go on a long session, or sometimes we go on a downwind run, if you have like a prone board that's sort of really a challenge to get up, by the time you're an hour and a half or 2 hours into it, you're gonna have a really hard time starting. So that's where the kind of compromise board, not real floaty, but not a total prone board, is nice, because you can still get started when you get tired. And that's pretty important when you're way out to sea.
Okay, well, that's all the footage we have for today, but don't worry, we have more coming next weekend, next Saturday we'll have another video coming with more voiceover tips from this same team. So stay tuned to the Blue Planet YouTube channel, give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time, and we'll see you in the water. Aloha.
Aloha. Pray for wind.